Hello, and welcome to Horror Movies and Shit. I'm your host, Jim, and with me as always is...
Bork.
Bork, how you doing today?
Bork is doing good.
Fantastic.
That will never get old, by the way.
Hey, Bork, who's got your leash?
Well, we have Cass here today.
And I am clearly in trouble.
So we do have a very special guest today on to talk about horror movie soundtracks. Cass, hello.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for joining our insanity. We appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to every minute of it.
And before we get on to that, Jim, what happened at Howl-O-Scream?
So, Kaz, you may not know we were supposed to go to Howl-O-Scream yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Not me and Jim, by the way.
Jim myself and my husband, Ray. It was his birthday, and back in July, I bought tickets to go to Howl-O-Scream yesterday. So we get there, and it's been canceled.
What?
They're doing some in-park thing for kids to go trick-or-treating.
Oh, give me a break.
And they didn't bother to refund us or tell us. So...
What do you mean refund you?
Well,
you tickets again?
Not unless... Well, we have... Today they gave us that option, but there was nobody to talk to yesterday. And the lady at the window said, well, we'll just charge them back to your card. See you later. And that was it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, exactly. We drove like an hour, wasted my time. And Ray calls him today. He's like, you realize I'm 60 years old and you made me sit in a car for an hour to walk around your park only to tell me I can't walk around your park.
Sorry.
Typical Jim.
Typical Ray.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, I have a long list of movies, soundtracks to talk about. So I can kind of go through these, and if y'all just want to throw in something afterwards. But here is the open question. To you, what makes a good horror soundtrack?
Kaz, I'll let you go first.
I think it's really going to depend on the age of the film. I mean, that with horror films and their soundtracks in general, I mean they've grown so much over time. But I'm going to definitely say, the power of dissonance is probably my favorite feature when it comes to scoring a good film. Just that long drawn out tone that creates that suspense. It gives you that moment where shit's about to go down.
There's nothing worse than them building up to that moment and not giving you a good ending.
Jim?
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I get taken out of the film if the music doesn't match. So like with movies like The Descent, it's dark, it's deeper toned, and it's very, I don't know how, I don't know the word to describe it, but it has to match the tone of the movie. Like I don't want to watch the movie Freaky with Vince Vaughn and listen to dark, dreary music. That needs to be upbeat, fun, almost a rock type soundtrack.
But that's a little bit of a trope too, right? So you can sometimes get movies with horrific scenes, and what they'll do is they'll play some light poppy tune over the top of it as kind of the sort of mirror image or the reverse image of it.
Right, but generally it fits into the tone of the film. It's not coming out of left field. Like you're not watching something like Intensity where it sounds just traumatic, and then all of a sudden during the middle of one kill scene they're playing Sunshine, Lollipops, and Rainbows.
Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to talk about Zombieland, please. God.
So
is that a good or bad, Kaz? Wait a minute. Is that good or bad?
Oh, it's horrible. I mean, it's just I feel like everything that they've done with the entire zombie genre over the past few years has been nothing but pop, with awful pop tunes and lollipops and rainbows.
Oh.
They could drop it.
That was painful. Sorry.
Oh well, hey.
In my defense, I do love Zombieland. I thought it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not something to take seriously.
It was witty.
It was definitely not The Dead Don't Die.
Right.
Which is a good thing.
So here's my thoughts.
Yeah.
striking
You have those?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think there's different ways that music can affect, your viewing and your overall experience of a movie. One can be like, and as I go down my list, certainly I'll call these out, are actual like themes, right? Actual themes that whenever you hear them, you're like, oh my God, yes, I love that movie and I love that theme, right?
Halloween, The Exorcist, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right. There's also ones where the music is there, but it's not noticeable. And
Right.
that's also a skill in itself.
Yeah.
And the third part is no music at all, right?
What?
Mhm.
So whenever you have movies, say like Blair Witch Project, the fact that they don't have a soundtrack adds something to that too.
It can be effective, yes.
Or you have a soundtrack, and then at a certain point they cut that soundtrack,
Yeah.
and then there's just that quiet part, and that can be unnerving too.
Like
So
when they have pink noise throughout, and then all of a sudden it just stops.
right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to start off with one of the most iconic horror themes out there, and it's only 2 notes. Jim, do you know what it is?
Jaws.
Yeah.
Hey Jim, not you.
Yeah.
You're off the draw.
Damn it.
So John Williams, just 2, boom, boom, we all know it. And that is such a simple get in your head type thing.
Mhm.
And all they do is speed it up and slow it down, speed it up and slow it down. Obviously, there's the other, they've got like the jaunty sea adventure music and stuff there too. But, as a theme, totally
Yeah.
iconic.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
I hear it every time I get in water.
Yep. And of
I
course-
still get shit. I still get shit when I put it on at home because Ray's like, "That's the movie that made me stop going to the beach," and I just say, "I'm sorry, you're a pussy."
Hey, it's effective, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the lack of that theme, whenever Brody is putting the chum in the water and Jaws pops up, that gives it that extra scare because we become so in tuned
Right.
to identifying Jaws with that score. So when there's no score there, then it's like, oh my God.
And that's the first time you see the actual shark, and not
Yes,
just the
it is.
dorsal fin.
Well, yeah, you see it a little bit whenever Kintner gets killed
Well, yeah, a little bit.
and the guy in the boat, the rowing boat from under the water.
Meh.
Okay, so I'm just going to randomly, and again, just jump in with any of your own or just thoughts. The Exorcist,
Yeah, of course. Tubular Bells,
Definitely.
iconic.
Absolutely.
and of course that's taking something that wasn't designed for that movie and just using it,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. And again, iconic. For a curveball, the soundtrack to The Exorcist 2 is kind of amazing as well.
It is.
Is it really? I'm going to be honest. I've never noticed the underlying music.
Oh, it's all got all that African chanting and
Yeah.
African drums and stuff.
I don't know that I would consider that part of the soundtrack.
Oh, it
But
is.
I mean, I guess it.
Oh,
No, I'm just saying. I don't think I ever I thought about it in that way. 'Cause to me, it was always just part of the movie because you hear the African chanting when the demon is riding on the cicada or whatever.
Right.
So, like The Exorcist 2,
Yeah.
it's terrible, but it's awesome, right? Because it's
Yes.
just like in your face and it's imagery and everything else. It's just so bombastic and like ridiculous. And the soundtrack really, really like makes
Yeah.
that even more apparent. So,
Oh yeah, like that noise when they're using the device so they can sync up. Oh my god.
okay, another classic one here, and this is Phantasm.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen any Phantasm movies since probably 1985.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, I stopped after the fourth one.
Time to pull it back out. Definitely.
Well,
Very-
there's only one more after that, right?
I saw parts of Ravager and had to turn it off.
I love all the Phantasm movies, all in their own different, unique ways.
I do
Well,
too.
you're allowed to be wrong, Mark. I won't say anything to Kaz. She's new here.
That's okay. Go for it.
So, guys, you like the Phantasm movies also?
I do enjoy the Phantasm movies, and I thought the scores were quite a lot of fun too. Very futuristic as far as I can tell. But I don't pay as much attention to the score in those films as I do the actual imagery. I have more fun just watching all of the fun practical effects.
Yeah,
Oh,
that is a good part of that movie. Those silver balls were fantastic.
Oh yeah,
was fantastic.
we're fantastic, right?
Um, and of course, the legendary Swedish metal band Entombed used part of the Phantasm score in their wonderful song Left Hand Path.
Is that right?
But Mark, if you're going to bring up bands riffing off of iconic horror movies, why are we not bringing up DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince and their masterpiece Nightmare on My Street?
Well, you can bring it up if you want. Okay. There we go.
There it goes.
All right, that was a lot of work for nothing. Okay.
And then we have Are You Ready for Freddy by Run DMC. Oh, I lied.
Yeah.
That's not Run DMC. That's the Fat Boys.
Run DMC. Public Enemy did that. Run DMC.
Did what?
Well, how do you mix up Run DMC with the Fat Boys?
I always thought it was Run DMC that did that song. I'm not going to lie. Because 90% of the time, unless it's the song Jelly Roll, I forget the Fat Boys ever existed.
All right, so where was I? Okay. Christopher Young is a fantastic composer. And
Hellraiser, right?
and I would actually say Hellraiser 2.
Oh yeah.
Better.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
The music for the Cenobites, phenomenal.
And again, it's just one of those catchy scores, and it just brings you along with the film. Luckily enough, Clive Barker never used what he was initially going to use for Hellraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he's going to use some industrial band or something. But yeah, Christopher Young is awesome. So
a lot of synthesizers.
All right, yep. We could
was I the only one that ever pictured the Cenobites as a metal band?
No, definitely not.
That would have been awesome.
Well, you could do that. You could just dress up as one, Jim, and start your own band.
I'm too fat to be a Cenobite, unless I was Butterball.
That's okay. You'll be Butterball. So we could actually spend an entire episode just talking about my favorite horror director and composer. That is John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Very nice.
We could talk about Halloween. In a way, I think Halloween got so overplayed, it's not that effective anymore, just because we hear it all, especially this time of year.
You're so wrong.
It's my fucking ringtone.
Right? Exactly. Thank you. Mark, you're just a hater and you're obnoxious. That song, that theme song is fucking amazing. Still to this day, it gets me jazzed because I know what to expect.
Well.
And you know what the best part about it is that the Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends did not use it that much. So they did not ruin it.
So the Halloween one is probably his most iconic, right? But I actually think my favorite soundtrack of his is The Fog.
I was 1984 classic. I mean that's easily one of his best scores. I agree.
And it definitely goes with the whole atmosphere of Antonio Bay and the whole setup and the fog rolling in as a small town. It's just perfect. And basically anything John Carpenter writes, his music is just amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Jim?
Yes.
Any thoughts?
No, not one.
See what I have to put up with.
He's still sour about you talking crap about Halloween.
Yeah, pretty much.
Halloween Kills killed itself anyway. So, but
look, the last two, the first one, the 2018 version, I liked a lot.
Did you?
I thought it wasn't anything new or exciting, and it was terrible storyline, lots of plot holes, but it was a Halloween movie. You had a bunch of brutal kills, which is what everybody goes to see when they want to watch a horror movie, when they want to watch a Halloween movie, right?
No.
Yes.
So
shut up, Mark. Nobody's talking to you.
No, Jim. So in the original, the classic Halloween, how many brutal kills are there in that?
Well, there's only 3 or 4.
No, brutal kills.
Well, it depends on your definition of brutal.
Right. So explain to me what you mean by brutal.
So in the 2018?
No, I'm saying, in the original.
Oh, okay. So in the original, we can talk about when Annie gets strangled in the car.
So
That-
getting strangled isn't brutal. Sorry.
I'm sorry, but that looked like a pretty vicious attack to me. Brutal doesn't mean lots of gore.
It means a
It-
lot of
well-
violence and gore.
Yeah, essentially.
Yes,
I guess
Jim.
we have
Well,
different.
what does it mean, Jim?
To me, it's
Yeah.
anything that is vicious. Like you don't have to spill a lot of blood to be vicious, right? You can you can strangle somebody and it's still considered brutal because you know how long it takes a body to actually be completely starved of oxygen.
Okay, point made. And this is speaking from coming from personal
So,
experience,
so,
right?
so, so
Yes.
Jim, any way somebody's going to die, I could say, well, isn't that horrible? Isn't that
It depends on the audience. Some people are going to say it's brutal. Some people are going to say it's not. It all depends on
so
who the audience is.
little like fucking amateurs like you will think. Well, I mean, if you look at Halloween, right? I'm not even
Right.
like the last three, but
Right.
the Rob Zombie ones.
Oh
No,
Jesus! Don't even bring that shit
Those
up.
were awful.
Kills and-
Right? Thank you, Cass.
Well,
Thank you.
be careful though, because Mark has a little bit of a bias thing going on with this
Uh,
those films. So
I don't
am
give
I
a
wrong?
I don't care. Mark
like, I
can
don't
have
give a
his
rat's
bias.
ass.
Yeah, I really don't.
Oh, by the way, I hate the Rob
Sherry,
Zombie.
Sherry Moon though, yeah.
Yeah, she's a goddess.
She is the most obnoxious bitch ever put on film.
No, I actually hate the Rob Zombie Halloween movies with passion.
Oh,
But
Yeah.
they were awful.
but
They really were.
if you're like putting Halloween the original, the rest of them were brutal just like the original. Well, no, the original wasn't brutal at all. It in fact showed
I
very
disagree.
for anything.
I disagree.
Strangled next. What's the next brutal kill?
Well, do you want to start with when he kills his sister in the beginning of the movie?
The bit where you just kind of see a knife going up and down, and that's
But then
it.
you're gonna say like Psycho wasn't effective because you
would
don't see any stab wounds.
No. It's not about effective, Jim. It's about whether it's brutal or not.
I consider a 5-year-old stabbing his 18-year-old sister brutal.
Well, you find okay. What's the most brutal Pixar movie in your opinion, Jim?
Fuck you, Mark.
No, I mean I'm just getting to your level here. So
Honestly, Wally, that's pretty brutal.
it was, yeah. I could barely watch it. It was not very squeamish though, Jim.
I don't know. I think the knife going up and down in Psycho was actually, it was kind of brutal, but it was more suspenseful and psychologically
Exactly. It doesn't have-
traumatizing. You know, Bernard Herrmann did the soundtrack for that one, and it was all those really high strings and
Yep.
and there's that dissonance that I was talking about before, and but definitely not brutal. When I think brutal, I think of somebody being strung up on a hook, guts pouring all over the floor, entrails. I mean that's
Well, that's
brutal.
gore though. That's not all brutality.
Well, to get to the gore, you have to be brutal.
I disagree.
So what?
You're not going to be part of this Cenobite metal band if you can't really
That's
grasp the definition of brutal.
That's okay. I don't really want to be Butterball anyway.
We'll ask you again in November.
Yeah, there you go.
So just while we're on John Carpenter, I just want to highlight another one of his scores that isn't one of his scores, which is The Thing.
Very good one.
Enrico Morni, which
Mhm.
you have to think that he watched some John Carpenter movies or collaborated with him, and he said, "I'm going to do something like you've been doing."
And he brought in Ennio Morricone for that one too, didn't he?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yep. Definitely a good score.
And obviously the catchy Halloween 3 soundtrack.
I love that soundtrack. I play that just to annoy Ray. I'm not gonna lie. He hates the Silver Shamrock song, and I fucking play it all the time.
And Jim, do you remember whenever I educated you about what that tune was? Do you remember?
I do, because it was in the public domain, but I cannot remember it to save my life.
Cass, do you know?
Oh, it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't.
It is London Bridges Falling.
That's it.
Oh, tell me
Yep.
more.
So it's London Bridges falling down, falling down, falling down.
Silver Shamrock.
Halloween is almost here, almost here, almost here.
Jim, do you think our audience would like us to do like some musical numbers throughout our episodes?
I seriously doubt that.
Well, hang on. You have to try out for your Cenobite band. So.
Oh, you're gonna make me choke on my beer.
Oh, that's very brutal, Jim. Ooh.
Oh, Kaz, you have no idea. When I misused the word woke once in front of Mark, and I still have not
shit.
lived it down.
I can't even get a word. I'm over here fucking crying, you guys.
We have that effect on people.
Yes, Mark does.
It's bad. I'm gonna put my coffee down and go get a beer for this.
I think that's a good idea.
Jim's woke choke.
Yeah.
So.
London Bridge is falling down.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Over Shamrock. Yep. Moving swiftly along. Okay, this one's a little bit different because I don't typically like musical numbers within a movie. Like,
Yes, we all know that you are Broadwayist. We get it.
Well, okay, Jim, don't be so stereotypical about you loving Broadway.
I mean, I do. I
So,
embrace the stereotype.
Jim, you have not seen this, I'm sure, because you're a noob. The original Wicker Man.
I have not, and I think Kaz has gone to get a beer.
Okay, I'm going to go get a beer too.
Okay.
Because I ran out of mine.
God damn it! See, I came prepared. I brought 3 with me.
See, Jim's come prepared.
I did. I'm. You have no idea. I hate being late and I hate being unprepared.
Well, I was both. I'm starting off on the right foot here.
There you go. And Mark has just gone to get himself a new beer because he forgot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to me last year. I'd actually flown it to Austin, and I went out to visit a girlfriend to see Nosferatu in the park. I'd flown all the way there. We spent an hour in the car, and when we got there, there was nobody there. They didn't tell anybody it was canceled. There are people wandering around aimlessly trying to figure out what exactly is going on, and they canceled it because there was a sprinkle of rain. It's supposed to have a live orchestra and everything. It was going to be great. Needless to say, I'm not 60, but we were still pretty put out. I couldn't feel my ass afterwards. I was pretty mad.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Okay, well, Jim, I'm back.
Okay, Mark. Kaz is back also, so shall we continue?
Yes. So, Kat, I was just bringing up the original Wicker Man movie. Have you seen it?
I have. I do like Wicker Man.
Yes, and I was telling Jim, I typically don't like musical numbers within a movie, but the Wicker Man just really works for me.
Yes, we have all come to the conclusion that he has something against Broadway for some reason.
I don't know. Sweeney Todd was pretty good.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. I'm heterosexual.
Mark, have you seen Anna and the Apocalypse?
No. Why would I see that?
Repo the Genetic Opera?
Oh, fantastic film. You want to talk about a soundtrack? That is fucking amazing.
I still can't get behind the what's the young girl's name in that one?
Alexis.
Yeah, I did not care for her, but Sarah Brightman. I mean, who's going to say no to that?
Well, of course.
Ogre. I mean, Skinny Puppy.
I'm not going to lie, but who knew that Paris Hilton would find a more perfect role?
Her face fell off. I couldn't.
Exactly, it's perfect.
I laughed my ass off.
Me too. So, Mark, you have Anthony Stewart Head is in this movie.
Yes, I know all about it. I just have no interest in watching it.
Why? It's a rock opera. It's fantastic.
Did you not just hear the words that came out of my mouth?
I don't care about the words that come out of your mouth, sir.
Strap him to a chair and force him, pry his eyes open. Now that would be brutal.
We're going to do a Robot Chicken and make Mark watch it.
Oh, shit.
I like Robot Chicken. Okay, so again, this is just kind of a mishmash of different ones here. So I know Cass could probably be a fan of this one, and this is Argento's Suspiria.
Oh, well, who doesn't like Suspiria? It's not my favorite Argento film, but Goblin, I mean, you
Yeah.
really absolutely. I heard they were touring last year. I would have loved to have seen them. Speaking of samples, though, there were a lot of different artists that sampled the main theme from Suspiria. I think
Mhm.
RJD2 did. Ghostface, what am I saying this right? Ghostface Killer.
Oh yeah,
Killer.
killer.
The Fat Boys.
Run DMC.
Run DMC, right? Public Enemy, as Mark pointed out earlier. But to answer your earlier question, Kaz, I do not like Suspiria.
No.
No,
Wow, why?
it's just a boring movie to me.
Is it? Do you
Yeah.
like any of Argento's work?
I've seen 2
Mm-hmm.
films by Argento, and I forget which one was. It Mark? What was that theater movie you made me watch? The movie where the lady in the theater.
That I made you watch.
Yeah.
That was
Where they
Argento.
I don't remember if it was Argento or not, though.
The lady in the theater. Oh, Demons.
Maybe.
Yeah. Is that what
Maybe.
you're talking
Maybe.
That's surprising.
That one was okay. I mean, it wasn't anything to write home about, but.
Hmm.
So, Cass, just to give you a little bit of insight into Jim.
Here we go.
So, Jim is notoriously low at rating movies, right? So I asked him, "Hey, give me your top 5 movies and give me your rating."
Here we go with fucking Event Horizon.
Event Horizon, one of my top 5 favorite
I
movies.
like Event Horizon a lot.
Me too.
But this is his own personal top 5 movies that he loves, and he scored Event Horizon 7 out of 10.
No shit.
Do you know why, though, Kaz?
Why? Mm-mm.
Because the special effects don't hold up. So I can't in good conscience give it a full 10 out of 10 if the movie doesn't stand the test of time. I still love it and I appreciate it, but I'm not going to rate it a 10 out of 10.
So Jim, there's
Okay.
no other movies that you like that are 8 out of 10 that would have taken its place.
No, not at all.
I've got to hear it. Jim, what's a 10 out of 10 for you?
Nightmare on Elm Street,
Okay. Good choice.
Alien, Jaws.
Jim just goes with the movies that he watched when he was growing up, and those are all 10 out of 10.
That is not true, because one of my favorite movies was Mr. Boogedy and Bride of Boogedy, and those are definitely not 10 out of 10s.
Those are
So we're riding on the coattails of nostalgia then.
Yeah.
A lot of my love of horror does stem from nostalgia. Yes.
He's a philosopher.
I went and saw The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and it was fucking terrible. I fell asleep.
It was not a good film. I was really I got my hopes up for no reason whatsoever, and I knew
Right?
it.
I was so
I knew it going
disappointed.
in. You know,
Jim, nobody says you have to like every new movie.
I mean, this isn't Romania.
Jim, there are newer movies which are absolute fantastic movies, right?
Name one.
I was just gonna.
Martyrs.
Okay,
That was
Martyr.
2006. That's not new.
So we're talking about your nostalgia here compared to newer movies. So I think that
And I appreciated Martyrs. I enjoyed it. You made me watch it because I hadn't seen it yet. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie.
2 out of 10.
I did not give it a 2 out of 10, you dick.
Okay. Okay. So just to go back to Argento. So, Cass, I don't know if you watched his most recent one, Dark Sunglasses.
I haven't yet. No, it's on my list.
So it's getting back to good Argento, right? Because he made some shitty movies recently.
Of course.
But the soundtrack to that movie is amazing, and it's just like a regular scored soundtrack, which I thought was weird for because I always have the Goblin thing for
Right.
Argento, so it was weird just to have a just normal scored movie, but it worked really well. So. Going from the ridiculous to the sublime, we have something of an oddity here. Another classic movie with another classic soundtrack, but it's something different. This is Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh.
Jim?
I mean, I love the movie. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that I consider the soundtrack iconic.
I don't either.
So what the soundtrack does is not a regular score or anything. It's those high-pitched squeals
Mhm.
and different noises just scattered throughout, which I think is a great reflection of like the house and all the bones.
Yeah.
Just the nasty, gritty, grimy. I think if you scored that, it wouldn't be as effective. I think those just visceral squeals and other noises.
I can get behind that sentiment, but I don't consider sound effects a soundtrack.
Well, it's not sound effects well, I mean, it is sound effects, but it is part of the soundtrack.
But like then again, like I would talk about Cabin Fever. Absolutely hated the movie. The sound effects were fucking disgusting and made my skin crawl.
No, they're not sound effects attached to something going on in the movie, Jim.
But you just called them sound effects.
No, you call them sound effects. So what they are, again, Jim, if you open your ears and put down your beer,
No.
it's not a traditional like scored soundtrack. It's a soundtrack made up of different noises.
Well,
Those
yeah,
are
I mean,
those are called sound effects, Mark.
No. Okay, Cass, do you want to explain it to them? Because
well, they were, you know, those they are, yes, they're sound effects, but sound is, you know, essentially what creates that sound track or score. I mean, it's pushing you into that moment of impending doom and building up to that jump scare that's gonna just, you know, put us on the edge of our seats. I can see where that, you know, where you're coming from there, but I'm actually with Jim on this one. I didn't think that it was iconic at all.
that's okay. You and Jim can go to Broadway together.
You're coming duct taped to a chair. It's happening.
Yes, it's happening. Yeah. Sweeney Todd will be seen by you, Mark.
Yeah, I started that movie, right? And I thought, okay, it's, you know, it might be interesting, but I didn't realize it was a movie where it's just, there's no dialogue and it's just all singing.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh my God, I made it like 20 minutes in, like I can't.
But you knew it was a musical going in, though.
Yeah, but I thought.
So what's the problem?
I thought it was something like the Blues Brothers or something like that, right? Where there are.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because that's what most musicals are to me.
Yeah, if you're trying to watch fucking Oklahoma.
I don't know, Jim. I'm not the Broadway.
Please no.
I thought we were like Rooftop of Horrors, right? Where there's just musical parts to it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, well, you need to do more research.
Sorry, Jim. I'm sorry. I'm just too heterosexual for you. I get it.
I don't know. Force feeding somebody Oklahoma is pretty damn brutal.
Hey, I did that play in high school.
I did Little Shop of Horrors.
See?
They wouldn't let us do Rosemary's Baby, so
Oh, that would have been amazing. But I did Oklahoma and Camelot and Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh wow. I did I did Little Shop of Horrors, Vampire Lesbians of Sodom, and Moon Over Buffalo.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say on this.
Kaz, I commend you. We have made Mark speechless.
Okay.
I'm honored. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Okay.
Getting back on the actual musical soundtracks and not musical.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Mark.
Yes.
I pulled up this list by Rolling Stone of the 35 greatest horror soundtracks, and I need your opinion on this because I don't remember this soundtrack because I think I've only seen this movie once, and that's Chud.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't either. So I don't know how it could be listed that way, but
I'm gonna have to go back and do some research on that one. I don't remember that at all.
yeah, I don't. I just remember it as a generally synth type soundtrack. I don't remember it as being anything.
I
fantastic.
barely remember that movie at all, so the soundtrack's going to be
Yeah,
totally lost on me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have up next. So we were talking about Psycho, right? Psycho's score is amazing,
Yeah.
but also you could just bundle in Reanimator with it since they just use that soundtrack too.
Oh, did they?
Oh yeah, not that but like the main soundtrack to Psycho. Yeah, they use it for Reanimator.
So, Kaz, you'll be I don't know. You might or might not be surprised to know I've never seen Reanimator.
Really?
No.
Jim.
I told you he's a noob.
I'm nearly speechless. That's
It
Jesus.
took me like Jim.
You are missing out.
How many times did I have to coax you into watching Return of the Living Dead, and then I actually had to make you watch it?
Right, because you forced me from the other coast, right?
Right.
No, actually, to be honest, it's the only reason I haven't watched it is because it just never crosses my mind to put it on. If I'm being honest,
Well, put that on your to-do list.
I
Return
will
of the
have
Living
to do
Dead
it.
is a great soundtrack.
If I was organized enough to have a to-do list, I would.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Fantastic, absolutely perfect.
So not only do you have the iconic score, but you also have the 1-2 Freddy's Coming for You
Yes,
song, which is, again, I don't want to keep on using the word iconic. Jim, come up with a better word.
I'm not feeling particularly loquacious today.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
Candyman. Candyman's one of my favorites. Philip Glass and his utilization of 6/8 time and triplets in that one is incredible. I'm actually working on a piano mashup of the main theme from Candyman and Ginger Snaps right now.
Ooh, Ginger
Yeah,
Snaps did have a really good soundtrack.
Oh, it did. Absolutely. One of the best coming of age films I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten down on my list too. Just like that organ sound is just awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. What else do I have here? Okay, I'm going to put these two kind of together. And it's Aliens. Aliens. Now, the Alien soundtrack's great, but I think I get kind of like Hellraiser 2. I like the expanded soundtrack in Aliens. And the soundtrack for Predator.
Oh, good one. Predator 2.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's got that, military drum beat. Just fits so well with it.
Yep. Because as that drum is beating, like it speeds up your heart based on the rhythm from the drum.
It does. Whoops. Where are we going here?
Think now.
No idea.
Okay.
No, I almost misplaced my beer.
Oh, damn it. That's important.
So speaking about Return of the Living Dead, I love that soundtrack too. And again, that's all kind of like punk song.
Oh, absolutely.
So do you know the? I only found this out recently. You know the song "It's Party Time"?
No.
Do you? Well, Jim, you watched the movie. It's party time. That one in Return of the Living Dead.
I've seen it. I don't recall that song, but okay.
That is one fucked up song. Like that's the only part that I knew of that song. But if you look at the lyrics for the whole song, it's brutal.
I'm pulling these
Your
up right
brutal
now.
or my brutal?
Okay. So let me bring it up here because.
I mean, it's a valid question, right?
Grade, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be way too brutal for Jim.
That's okay. I have the Afghan I'm crocheting, so I can hide.
Oh well.
I have to say, I think my favorite track on that soundtrack has got to be "Burn the Flames." Roky Erickson.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Oh God.
I'm
trying to pull these lyrics up right now.
41 graves.
45.
Sorry, 40.
Yeah, that B-side's pretty damn good.
I'm the only one not Googling right now.
I'm going to read the lyrics.
So here we go. Oh, she never had a chance. Oh, she was only 5 years old. Pity the poor darling now. Oh, she never had a chance. Death come quick for a girl, victim of a homicide. Cut and beaten, brutally raped. The 5-year-old didn't escape. Her mom and friend did her in, cigarette burns on her arms. From her mom and her friend, he had a whip to hit her again.
It's party time.
Jim, do you think those lyrics were brutal?
I think they were very disturbing.
Yeah. So, it's just something I found out recently. Okay. So again, moving on to something completely different, we have the Steven Spielberg classic Poltergeist.
Fantastic
hmm
soundtrack. Absolute
Definitely up
perfection.
there.
The bell, his use of the bells and the string instruments, it was fantastic.
And when it kind of goes like ooh, and that those sort of effects within the soundtrack,
Yep.
I think they're just wonderful.
Yep.
Okay, Day of the Dead. Romero's classic movie has got a wonderful soundtrack to it, also.
I'll take your word for that.
Because
What?
Jim hasn't seen it.
Oh my, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim. I'm growing more and more disappointed by the minute.
Oh, just
I'm-
wait.
You're in
There's
here. I'm here.
Yeah, there's more. There's more to come, Kaz. Don't worry. I'll find new ways to disappoint you.
That is his speciality, disappointment.
The opening
I-
theme for Cannibal Holocaust is pretty damn good.
So
I'll take your word for that.
Oh, Jesus.
Is my favorite soundtrack.
Which one?
Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, it is excellent.
I love the sweeping, beautiful opening. Then I love when it gets into the pew, pew, like kind of electronica throughout.
How did it go again, Mark?
Pew, pew.
That sounds more Star Wars than Jungle.
Pew, pew. Oh, I am your cannibal. But yeah, it's just haunting.
Mark,
Jim?
I think you broke Kaz.
Oh, I'm already broken, Jim.
Jim, do you find the jungle brutal?
No, not especially.
In general? No?
It depends. Are we talking about just like the jungle in general, or the jungle of Anaconda? Because if you have that giant snake chasing me, that's kind of brutal.
Well, yeah, I mean, the rainforest is fine. We can use that. So
Anywhere that there are snakes, I consider brutal.
because it can strangle you, Jim?
No, because I just hate snakes.
Well, that's not fair.
Oh, please, they're disgusting.
What did they ever do to you?
Yeah.
Touched me.
Jim, let's not bring up your theater experience. And
Shut up, Mark. Shut up. I knew you were going to bring this up, Kaz. There's so much to unpack with that. I fear it would drive us into the 3-hour mark.
I have an extraordinary imagination. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to handle this.
So let me repeat this now for the 5th or 6th time. There was a time from the time I was probably, I don't know, 10, 11 years old. Well, I guess I would say probably between 9 and 12, where I tried to go to the movies alone several times, and it never quite worked out for me. Shut up, Mark.
So how did that work out for you, Jim?
You're lucky I have alcohol in me. There would always be an older gentleman sitting next to me pleasuring himself.
Fuck.
So from the time I was, I don't know, 12 to 13 until I was 46, I did not go to the movies by myself.
So, Jim, please tell us about how that relates to snakes.
I did not bring up the movie experience when talking about snakes, Mark. You did.
No, this is a little bit of your psychotherapy, Jim. You had that traumatic experience, and it looked a little bit like a snake.
No, I was afraid of snakes long before that experience, sir.
Did a snake try to pleasure itself near you?
I have no words, Mark. Shut up and go on, please.
28 weeks later, I love the soundtrack.
That is a fantastic soundtrack. I don't think Kaz can breathe.
I'm okay. No, that is an excellent soundtrack. Son of a bitch.
Oh, damn it.
Jim, do you remember what movie you were watching at that point? In the movie? We'll see. I just do a little bit more analysis.
One of them was Nightbreed,
Oh,
Nightbreed,
yeah.
but that came out mid-90s.
No, it did not.
Okay. Let's
Because
see.
I was living in Winter Haven when Nightbreed came out.
Let's see.
it was 90, 91, 90?
1990. Okay.
There is no way.
Yes.
Because I saw that when I was living in Winter Haven.
So how
And I
old?
was not living in Winter. I was in middle school when I lived in Winter Haven. I moved out of Winter Haven in 9th grade.
So
Oh, I guess that does sort of track. So
Jim,
that couldn't have been Nightbreed.
is there anything else you want to tell us, Jim?
No, that does sort of track because I did move out of there when I was in 9th grade and I graduated in 94. So I guess it sort of tracks. So it was obviously wasn't Nightbreed. I don't know. I've repressed those memories. I don't know what movies those were.
Was Pee Wee Herman in the audience?
I don't think so. If he pulled his pants down, I might be able to tell you.
Well, he's not going to do that now.
Not now. He's dead.
Correct. That's pretty brutal.
What is?
That he died, Jim.
Why is that brutal?
Because anybody that dies is brutal in your book.
Not quite.
Oh, he died in his sleep. Wow, brutal. Imagine that.
To some, it might be brutal. Can you imagine how his mother feels?
That's sick, Jim. I don't go around filling up celebrities' mothers.
Oh my god! I almost spit out my beer.
Weirdo.
Excuse me.
Yeah, kind of just watch yourself if you're going to Broadway.
I do hear it can be pretty brutal.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh
This is
god.
just- I'm just going to title this entire episode "Brutal." That's it.
Here's a fun one: Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. Here's one that's kind of horror adjacent a little bit, and that is Sunshine.
Horror adjacent?
Yeah.
Explain.
Please.
To me, it's not. I wouldn't call that a straight horror movie. I would call it a sci-fi movie with horror elements towards the end.
Explain.
Sunshine. Have you seen the movie, Jim?
Never even heard of it.
I haven't either.
What?
No.
You're in the minority here, Mark.
Oh my god, I've got two noobs now.
Am I missing out? Do I need to add this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sunshine is.
You know what, Kaz? Take that with a grain of salt because he recommended Dark Side of the Moon too, and it was terrible.
Oh.
Sunshine is a 2007 movie, and it was directed by Alex Garland, one of my favorite directors. Written by Alex Garland, and it was directed by Danny Boyle, with Cillian Murphy in it, and Chris Evans.
How have I've never even heard of this.
Me either.
Look it up.
The story follows a group of astronauts on a dangerous mission to reignite the dying sun. So it's a spinoff of Armageddon.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Wonderful.
It's nothing like Armageddon.
Good, because I don't like Aerosmith.
That makes two of us.
No, they're pretty brutal. Okay. I just want to say that the best use of a song that wasn't written for a movie, in my opinion, is the movie Stitches. Have you seen Stitches?
Oh, yes.
No.
So the song "I Just Died in Your Arms" that when they started doing that, I'm like, that was amazing.
So let me ask you this question, Mark. What did you think of the soundtrack of May?
I was just going to say that. The Breeders. I'm not even kidding, Jim. The Breeders covered most of the soundtrack for that. Did
I
they
thought
not?
it was fantastic.
I did too. And that little snippet, that short film that they added inside, with the man that she was trying to get to know at first.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It really
What
is.
a good film.
Yeah. That's a dark gem. Like, not many people know about that movie, and I thought it was fantastic.
I absolutely love May.
Yeah, I've not seen that in so long, and I don't remember the soundtrack. So,
Well, I'm a big fan of the Steel Sisters.
We're going to
so I
chastise you now, Mark.
hey, at least I've seen it, Jim. I just don't remember it.
Shame, Mark. Shame.
It's great because one of the tidbits of one of the Breeders songs in there is "Do You Love Me Now?" and she's sitting there and just trying to find somebody to love her.
Mhm.
Like it's just absolutely a delight.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I'm curious then, Kaz. What did you think of the soundtrack of the movie Darling?
I did not pay a lot of attention to the soundtrack, Darling. Actually, nope, I did not.
Interesting. What did you think of the movie in general?
I do enjoy it. I did.
I thought it was a great descent into madness type film.
Oops.
Mark?
That's what I feel these podcasts are to me.
Uh,
A brutal descent into madness.
you know what, Mark? You are my Juno. I hope to one day leave you in a cave with an axe in your leg.
That's not
Famous last
very,
words.
that's pretty brutal, Jim.
Isn't it though?
No.
Anyway, next.
Okay, we're taking it back a number of decades ago to the original Godzilla movie. Jim, do you know who Godzilla is, Jim?
No, I think it's a giant lizard, right? He like ate some poison grapes or something, got really big.
No, that's probably one of your Broadway plays. But just
Yes.
just like really in your face, I absolutely love that soundtrack.
So it might surprise you, Mark, but Godzilla was one of my mom's favorite movie franchises, so we saw every single one of them.
So, Canis, do you know what Jim's mom made of watch when he was, what, 8? Were you 8, Jim?
No, I was probably somewhere between 9 and 10. But I will say that did have a
The year
really good score.
1990?
Yeah, 1990.
It actually does have a fantastic score.
It does.
So Jim and Jim's mom said, "Hey, Jimmy, come on, let's grab some popcorn. Let's sit down. Let's watch a movie."
It's not quite how it happened, but go ahead.
Okay, Mom. Okay. Turns the lights down. The credits start to roll, and it's the Barbara Hershey's vehicle and the Entity. Have you seen the Entity?
Kaz.
Oh, hi. What did you say now?
Have you seen the Entity?
I have not.
Okay, so Barbara Hershey's character is constantly being raped by a ghost.
Twice. There are 2 rape scenes in that entire film.
Okay, but they were brutal.
They were.
Yeah. And this was 9-year-old Jim and his mom's Saturday night movie.
Oh.
As a kid, though, I did not understand that nuance of this film until I saw it much later as an adult.
It tends to happen.
What nuance, Jim?
Like the fact where where you could see like the handprints on her skin and everything, where it was touching her. I had no idea that was a rape scene. I was just like, how are they making it look like somebody's touching her?
And what did your mom say to that?
I don't remember.
Oh, the age of innocence.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck else am I going? Oh, okay.
So are you saying, Mark, that me watching The Entity at that age has made me gay?
No, I if you look at the traumatic experiences in your life, Jim, with all being around watching a movie, think about that.
I don't find any of them traumatic. I have a few other events in my life that I consider traumatic, and none of those qualify.
Well, Jim, you're swimming in that big river in Egypt. Right? Denial is a very bad thing. You should work through it. We'll do it together. Don't you worry. Okay.
Oh my God, Kaz, you okay over there?
Yes. I'm doing just fine.
Okay.
I'm just trying to picture Godzilla in my mind. That's
it's
what we're working on right now.
It's better than Ghost Rape.
So,
they had a lot more challenges in the 50s, and before, with score.
So, Jim, I'm going to get that on a T-shirt. Ghost Rape.
Oh my God!
Maybe you should use one of your mugs.
I just thought about that. I could put, the podcast logo on it, and then just put underneath it. It's better than Ghost Rape.
I mean, makes sense to me.
Oh my god, I'm gonna do that. Kaz, would you like me to send you a cup?
Yes, please.
Okay, you'll have to send me your PO box or whatever. I will send you that cup. I promise.
Are
Okay.
you sure you want to have something that's going to bring up memories of this episode, though? The trigger thing there.
I can't breathe. What have
Well,
I
I
done?
can't do it either.
What have I done?
You've come onto a really brutal podcast. That's
Oh my god. Oh. You know what the sad part is? I'm laughing at all this, and it's all at my expense.
well, Jim. It's good to laugh about.
It
some of
is.
the
It is.
things. It's a way.
After my day at work, I really needed this. Thank you.
Okay, going back to movie soundtracks. By the way, therapy session.
Okay.
We have another iconic score. Jim, you haven't come up with a better word yet, so it is the original Omen movie.
Okay, that score is amazing. It it really is.
It is.
This is
It
all
is.
for you, Damien.
Jim, how old were
It
you
is
whenever,
it is a quintessential movie score.
Jim, how old were you whenever you saw the Omen, and what happened?
I honestly, I don't remember seeing it as a kid. I remember seeing it as an adult, and I was sitting in my living room.
and who was there?
It was just me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So what else have we got here? I've done that one, done that one, done that one, done that one. Stitches, done that one. A newer one, just because I love all the synthwave stuff, is The Guest.
Oh, I actually really do like that score as well, and it kind of gives you that 70s synth vibe. I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely the synthwave.
Kind of a Fabio Frizzi play on.
Yeah, definitely John Carpenter. Well, John
yes.
Carpenter's in there too. Speaking of Italian cinema, we're going to go to our wonderful Lucio Fulci. Jim, I made Jim watch a Fulci movie. He'd never seen Fulci
Please.
before.
Please don't bring that fucking movie up again.
And I started him off with a pretty brutal one. Jim,
It was the New York Ripper.
Now, would you call the New York Ripper brutal, Jim?
I would call it stupid. That
Is
movie in general was terrible.
Wait, is it more or less brutal than Halloween the original?
It depends on in what way are we using the word brutal? Like, it hurt me more to watch the New York Ripper than it did to watch the original Halloween.
It wasn't Fulci's best. It was not.
Jim,
I'll give you that.
Jim, is there more graphic deaths in New York Ripper?
Well, yeah, there's also foot rape.
Is that like ghost rape?
Yeah, except a foot.
And what would you rate the New York Ripper, Jim?
That was a 3.
A 3.
Yeah. He didn't like it at all. That was back in the days where we started this podcast. Because Jim's an absolute noob. We were doing he'll pick a movie that he knows that's more well known, and I'll pick one that makes a good double bill with it, but it's lesser known.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like it has a Donald Duck serial killer in it.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That
pretty brutal.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah. Hey, don't hate on Howard the Duck. I fucking love that movie.
I like Howard the Duck too.
Oh, good. Okay. We can still be friends then.
Jim, would you rate Howard the Duck higher than New York Ripper?
100%.
Duck bills over switchblades and straight razors then.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And you know what? Do you know what my number one reason for loving Howard the Duck is?
What's that?
Because it's quackers?
It's because you see naked lady ducks.
Okay, so we're back into the therapy session here again. Let's just run this by you, Jim. You're afraid of snakes.
Yes.
But you like naked female ducks.
No, I just thought it was hysterical when he went blasting through the wall and they showed that naked lady duck. I thought it was absolutely hysterical.
Right. That didn't harm you like the snake harmed you.
No.
And on
Interesting.
today's episode, we're going to be talking about Howard the Duck and Fritz the Cat. Thank you for joining us. That's fucking brutal.
Yeah, fucking
Oh,
And-
brutal.
Jeez.
Okay, we're talking about Fulci. The Beyond.
Yeah,
I
Fulci
think
to Howard the Duck. Yeah, that's an easy segue.
we missed it. Oh, Jesus Christ. So yes, The Beyond is my favorite Fulci movie and my favorite soundtrack of his or in his movies. Cass?
Oh, I'm here. Yeah, definitely. No, I love The Beyond. I love most of Fulci's work, and Fabio Frizzi is easily one of my favorite composers for our horror soundtracks. I'm a big fan of most Italian horror in general, so I'm a little biased in that realm, but that's definitely a great soundtrack.
So, Jim, what's your Italian horror movie?
The Last Shark.
Jim, have you seen any other Italian horror movies apart from the two ones I made you watch?
No,
Not a fan of the Giallo, then.
not at all. No.
Oh dear. No Zombie, no City of the Living Dead.
Nope,
None
never
of
seen it. Nope. So I'm not going to say I'm not a fan. I've never seen any of them.
Well, you've seen two of them.
Yeah, and those were horrible. Thank you, Mark. But I did love The Last Shark. The Last Shark was a masterpiece of terrible cinema.
Hmm.
It is fun.
Well, what makes a lot of these crappy Italian horror films great is the soundtrack, though. The soundtracks are amazing.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. New York Ripper, the soundtrack wasn't terrible, but given how terrible the rest of the movie was,
And what's so funny is, like, especially in the 70s and early 80s, like in a lot of Italian movies, they definitely have the whole disco thing going on in a lot of the soundtracks. Which reminds me, another one of my favorite movies, because it's just a lot of fun, which is The Beast Must Die.
I can't, you keep talking about this, and I don't recall this movie at all.
Cass, have you seen that?
I have, absolutely.
So that has got a disco-tastic soundtrack.
Is it
it makes sense for a 70s film.
Is it a seminal soundtrack?
Jim, did you bring up a thesaurus?
No.
I think you did.
No, no, I would not do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna need to flip to the letter I. We're gonna look up iconic for a moment, please.
Yeah, pretty much. We have quintessential, archetypal. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Jim, I thought you said you were sagacious.
No, I said I was not feeling loquacious.
No, I know. I know, Jim. Do I have anything left? Oh, okay.
Beast Must Die, Peter Cushing.
So actually,
wait. Hang on, Mark. Kaz just said something. Kaz, what did you say? Peter Cushing, what?
We were talking. He had brought up The Beast Must Die, and it made me think of Peter. Immediately took me to Peter Cushing, whom I'm a fan of.
So expound on Peter Cushing. Come on, let's go.
Oh, well, I enjoy Peter Cushing. I always think about when I think of him. I always think of the old Tales from the Crypt, the original BBC version, and of course, he's a Hammer Studios icon. Absolutely. But as far as I know, he didn't score any films. So.
You know another thing which I didn't put together until like way recently, and I'm like, how did I not see this? So the main guy in The Beast Must Die is Calvin Lockhart, right? Mm-hmm. And he played. Have you seen Predator 2?
Of course.
Yeah, he played King Willie in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no I'm like, what? Whenever I find that out, I'm like, how did I not notice that? That's all I have, I think, on my little list.
Okay. You want to go through this list I found on Rolling Stone?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So we mentioned one while Mark was getting a beer. So number 35, this is the 35 best, let me get that, 35 greatest horror soundtracks. So we have the first one is Extra.
Jim, have you seen Extra?
I have not. Shocking, right?
Extra is fucking nuts.
Mhm.
That's what it says. An extraordinary mess.
But I don't remember the soundtrack. I do.
I don't either.
Okay. Next is Zombie 2.
Yep.
Definitely.
Jim?
So don't even ask.
But hang on, Jim, you might like it because a zombie fights an actual shark. In it.
That could be fun. I'd have to look that up.
Mhm.
So next we already talked about number 33 is Chud.
Hmm.
Do we know what Chud stands for, Taz?
What does it stand for, Jim?
I know.
Cannibalist.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Yep.
Nerd.
So next is Nightmare City.
Oh. Lamberto Lanzi? Umberto Lanzi?
This just
Umberto,
shows
yep.
Yeah, this I don't know. This mentions Stelvio Cipriani.
I don't remember the soundtrack for that one.
Yeah, that's the composer. Says he's responsible for the eerie lounge jazz of Mario Bava's Bay of Blood also.
Mm.
Then we have number 31 is Near Dark, Tangerine Dream.
Very nice.
So, was it Tangerine Dream did the Blade Runner soundtrack?
Did they do what?
The Blade Runner soundtrack? Was it them?
Good try.
I believe so.
I don't know.
I can't stand that soundtrack for Blade Runner. It just fucking annoys me.
Yeah, this doesn't mention Blade Runner at all, so I don't know.
So who did it for Blade Runner? Oh, Vangelis, maybe?
Maybe.
It's one of those. It's kind of like Tangerine Dream, anyway. I don't like those soundtracks.
So next we have Hellraiser.
Yep.
Then we go to. I don't remember this soundtrack at all. I mean, I'm assuming it was a very synth soundtrack, but I don't remember. Chopping Mall.
I don't remember the score for that one.
soundtrack.
Yeah, I don't either. This one's a new one for me. I don't think I've seen this. I've not heard of this one. Beyond the Black Rainbow.
I know about it. I haven't watched it just because I'm pretty sure it's a bit of an art house movie.
That's what it sounds like from
I
what it's
just
talking
never-
about here.
never
Rolling
got it.
Stones top, huh?
Yep.
Hmm.
Weird picks here.
Number
Which-
20.
I kind of like though. I kind of like that they're not just all the ones kind of we've talked about. Just like
Right.
a lot of Jaws and The Exorcist. And, maybe it'll be down there, but
Yeah, number 27 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which we already talked about.
oh, so Rolling Stone agrees with me, eh?
Well, they think it's 27 out of 35. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's top 30, Jim.
Top.
Jim?
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Jim, I can just imagine your number 30 favorite movie.
Yeah.
Give it like a 1.5.
More than likely. Number 26 is Day of the Dead.
Yep. Fantastic.
Number 25, Under the Skin. Scarlett Johansson. I have not seen this one.
I hate that movie.
Mm-mm.
It's the most boring.
Is that a relatively newer movie?
2013, this says?
I have
It's-
not seen it.
Yeah, it's awful.
I'm not missing out.
It's
Great.
it's very art house and
Oh,
slow and boring. I mean, she walks around nude in a part of it, but I guess that's what it's most famous for. But she's like an
Yes.
alien, and it's set in Scotland. It's very strange, but I didn't like it.
so definitely not the good kind of slow burn. That's too bad. Okay.
So
No.
next we have The Boogeyman from 1980.
Huh.
What did
That
you-
was that's on a streaming service right now, which I've kind of flicked past. I'm like, I have to watch that.
Is that the 1980 version or is that the new Stephen King
It's,
version?
it's the 1980 one.
Okay. So number 23, we come with A Clockwork Orange.
Excellent.
I don't know that I consider it
I
a horror
don't.
movie,
Yeah, I
but
was
okay.
gonna say.
It's pretty brutal though, Jim.
Parts of it can be, yeah.
Do you think A Clockwork Orange is more or less brutal than the original Halloween?
I think A Clockwork Orange is more brutal than Howard the Duck. Does that count?
Nope.
So, next we are coming up with The Exorcist II: The Heretic.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Number 20 is Maniac from 1981.
I don't remember the score that much.
So they're saying the song that they mention in this little blurb is called Hooker's Heartbeat.
Hmm.
It's,
that was like the lullaby your mom used to sing you to sleep.
number 19 is Maniac from 2012.
No, don't remember the score of that, but I like both those movies.
Apparently, it's a lot of Daft Punk.
Oh,
So number 18, Mark, I'm surprised you didn't mention this one. Videodrome.
Videodrome is good.
Again, don't remember the soundtrack. Well, no.
Now this one's worth talking about because I thought it was a really effective soundtrack. Is Christine?
I don't like Christine.
Why? Is it because shit wipes off?
Jim, there's no need to be so brutal about things. No, it's just one of those ones, and it's just personal thing. I couldn't get over the concept.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I could understand that because like Rubber was terrible. Even though it was supposed to be like a satire or whatever, it was stupid as shit. I sat through the whole thing.
Jim?
Okay, so number 16, we have Kwaidan. Never heard of it.
Haven't seen it. It's classic Japanese stuff.
Number 15 is Psycho. Talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
This one I don't know, but it's another entry from Tangerine Dream. It's called The Keep.
Oh, yeah. Michael Mann. Yeah. It's a very bizarre movie. Very bizarre.
This one surprises me that you didn't mention this one either, too, because I've heard you talk about it before. Is Tenebrae.
Mm-hmm.
Number 12 is Phantasm.
Classic.
Number 11, we already talked about, was The Beyond.
Brutal.
Number 10, The Shining.
Meh.
I thought it was the soundtrack fits the movie. I think
It does.
I think that those tones like you hear when they're traveling up to the hotel and you know when they do most of the aerial shots, I think that's pretty iconic.
So here's something. Whenever I was writing down kind of my list, it's just kind of an open question, I guess. Like, can you think of a movie? Well, Jim, you hate most movies, so it might be easier for you.
Right.
A movie that you don't like, a horror movie you don't like, but you really like the soundtrack.
Cabin Fever.
Midsummer.
I don't like the soundtrack for Midsummer. Nor do I like the movie.
No Bobby Krullick for you. I understand that's a touchy subject for you, Mark.
Yeah, a little bit.
Moving on.
Number 9 is Rosemary's Baby.
Very good.
Number
Have you
8,
seen-
we already. What?
Have you seen Rosemary's Baby?
What is that?
What?
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Yes, I've seen Rosemary's Baby.
And how would you
It is a boring fucking movie. I
Yeah,
didn't
but
like it at
the
all.
score is great. It's got those really, really haunting la la la's in it.
It does. The score is fine. I'm talking about the substance of the movie. I thought it was stupid.
So, Jim, how would you rate Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby?
Maybe a 3 out of 10.
That's pretty brutal, Jim.
I know, right? So now we have number.
Jim, show me where the movie touched you.
Number 8 is The Omen.
Yep.
From one of the best years ever. Nosferatu the Vampire from 1979.
Oh, the Klaus Kinski one.
So I always revert back to the 1922 Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, what's the oldest movie you've ever watched?
I think it was called Hex from 1932.
It's not bad for you.
Oh, well, there is The Women, too. That's from 1916, but I thought we were talking about horror movies.
Was it Haxon or Hex?
Haxon. Thank you. But I I have seen The Women from 1913, but I thought we were talking just horror.
Just stop looking at the women.
It's actually the claim to fame of that movie is the fact that there are no men shown on screen at all. Every man that is even addressed in the film is off screen. So, like they run off screen to talk to him. And
So it's a horror for you, Jim.
why? It's about a bunch of catty socialites. It's fantastic fare for gay men. Anyway, let's get back to horror. Number 6 is The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely up there.
Yep. Number 5 is Cannibal Holocaust.
Yep.
Number 4 is Suspiria.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And who wants to take a guess at what number 1 is?
Halloween.
Yes, correct.
The absolutely visceral brutality of Halloween, yes.
I'm surprised Jaws wasn't on that list.
Yeah?
I wonder if they didn't consider it horror.
It's possible. So that's it for me. Who's got something else?
Cass?
Well, I mean, we've talked about a lot of my favorite scores. I mean, I came on, getting ready to present a couple of those that were on those lists. The Thing is definitely up there. As you can tell, I'm clearly a Fabio Frizzi fan. John Carpenter, Paul Giovanni, Wicker Man. You'd already talked about that. I mean, we've covered just about all of the greats that I can think of.
So sorry, Paul Giovanni. It's interesting because he's Italian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote
with the last name like Giovanni. No, he's not.
Jim, before you talk, go watch the movie, and then we'll let you speak.
No. Keep in mind, I control I have all the power here, Mark. I just have to hit the stop button.
It's just interesting that he was able to write wonderful, like Scottish folk tunes, and he's Italian. It's just interesting. That's it.
I'm glad nobody brought up Danny Elfman. That makes me happy. Oh my goodness! No, we were talking about for some. Oh, that's right, Jim. We were talking about your theater experiences in Pee Wee Herman, and I was actually grateful that it hadn't gotten brought up, but here I am doing just that.
Yes, yes, you are. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So it would seem.
Well, okay. So, Kaz, we normally start now just bullshitting about stuff that we have seen or listened to or whatever during the week. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
My week has not had. I haven't had any fun this week. So I haven't. It's been all work and no play. I've got to admit. I've been trying to avoid any and all conversations to do with American Horror Story because it seems to be one of the only things people talk about at the moment. I don't know why.
There's Kim Kardashian's in it.
I cut out after season 5.
Yeah, I when Jessica Lange left, I had no interest whatsoever.
Yeah.
But no, that's unfortunately, I don't have any great contributions in that department at all.
I always like to ask our guests what are their favorite horror movies.
Mark, I don't think I've ever heard you ask a guest that.
Well, you know what? You should. There's things called Q-tips, Jim. You can shove them down your ear hole, and then maybe you'll be able to listen.
Maybe.
Well, Cannibal Holocaust is definitely up there. I do love Hell of the Living Dead.
Is that a Disney movie?
It is a Disney movie.
Oh, fantastic.
It is, Jim. Absolutely.
Is that a sequel to Howard the Duck?
It is not, Mark. I've got quite a big list. It just really depends on the genre. I love The Thing. It's up there as well.
Which thing?
The original.
We're not talking about the 70s or early 80s remake?
No, which I enjoy.
That's called The Thing, Jim.
Pardon me?
The original wasn't called The Thing.
Okay.
Now,
did you expect me to debate that?
No, I'm educating you.
Oh, please. Please, oh great master, teach me.
Yeah,
Thing
you're
from
about.
another world.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now the prequel was called The Thing, Jim.
Okay.
So there's two The Thing movies, and you didn't mention either of them.
The Thing from Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Thing.
Uh-huh.
What's the next?
The Thing. The remake was just the prequel was
How
just
about
The
we make
Thing.
it a prequel, Jim?
That's what I just said.
You said remake.
I corrected myself, oh great non-listener.
Well, maybe if you get it right the first time.
Is that what your wife said? Anyway,
They call it Dead Space, Jim.
if you say so, sir.
I'm
Okay.
bouncing a dog off of my lap.
Any other ones?
I'd like to hear your favorite horror films.
His favorite horror film is Martyrs from 2006, the French film.
Yeah,
2000.
I thought it was Midsummer.
I thought, yeah,
Here's the thing, though. I think Hereditary is an absolute modern classic. And I was so disappointed by Midsummer. And I haven't watched that. Bo Isn't Afraid because it's like fucking 3 hours long.
it looks
I-
terrible.
I've tried multiple times to get all the way through it and not yawn. I did actually like the score, but I don't get why people think it's such an amazing film.
I've generally heard negative things about it. But
Hmm.
again, I was worried that Hereditary might be like a one off. And it looks like it probably is.
Hmm,
So you're not an Ari Aster fan.
not necessarily.
Well, it's 1 out of 3 so far, Jim.
It's fair.
Night of the Demons, but that's that borderlines comedy for me.
Comedy horror is
Yeah.
great.
Yep,
Yeah,
it
we,
is.
we love comedy horror. Zombievers is fantastic. Tucker and Dale.
I didn't love it.
What?
No, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I did not. I didn't think it was great. I preferred Fido over that.
Oh, I haven't seen Fido yet.
Fido's
Bill-
hilarious.
Voices was
adorable.
really good. Voices
It
was
was.
really good. Yeah.
It was.
Mark,
Yes.
horror comedy, are you going to contribute?
So Return of the Living Dead is, I think, best horror comedy. Evil
I don't
Dead
think I've ever
2,
seen that.
Reanimator. I mean, a lot of it comes from the 80s. Frankenhooker, Brain Damage. I mean, there was just
Brain
terrible-
Damage was so boring.
So, Jim, are we talking about the same movie?
You're talking about the New Zealand movie, right?
No.
Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Frank Henenlotter 1980s
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
anti-drug movie.
No, that one I have not seen.
Great Trash is another one. I mean, there's so many great comedy horrors.
Would you consider the Menu horror?
That's a dark. That's I don't consider it horror. I consider it black comedy.
Yeah.
I would think that's probably like a thriller for me, but it's kind of a
Yeah.
arty thriller. But
Arsenic and Old Lace, but that's going way back.
oh yeah,
It's the
Absolutely
only Anna Taylor-Joy movie that I've liked so far.
Really?
you didn't like the New Mutants?
No, I thought that was boring. I was so disappointed. I was so excited to see Marvel move on to like a more horror centric storyline, and it just wasn't. It was boring.
No, it was always going to be a train wreck. But going back, I mean, you got like all the Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. You have, Vincent Price was just a master of comedy horror.
Absolutely.
Whenever you got like comedy of terrors,
Transylvania 65000.
Dr. Phibes. I mean,
I did watch House on Haunted Hill a couple of weeks ago, rewatched for the millionth
Which one?
time. The original, Vincent Price.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it.
Absolutely. I did enjoy the newer film. Yeah,
It
I didn't
wasn't
think it was
terrible.
bad.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
terrible.
It was corny in all the right ways, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the original at all.
Yeah, agreed.
I thought the remake was excellent. What's his name playing Vincent Price's character? Was
Jeffrey
great.
Oh,
Rush.
Yeah,
Jeffrey Rush.
He was Vincent Price. It was great.
He was like over the top hammy. It was great. The
And
only, the
I
only thing
usually
that let that movie down, Jeffrey Combs is in it also. The only thing that let that movie down to me was like the last 10 minutes, where it's just like crappy CGI nonsense ending.
I thought Famke Janssen was severely underused in that movie though.
She was great as the femme fatale.
She always plays the femme fatale. Like I don't think she could play the victim.
No, not at all.
I take that back because in 100 Feet she was the victim and she was fantastic.
Was she?
She was. She plays a woman who is on house arrest for killing her abusive husband, and his ghost comes back and brutalizes her.
I haven't seen it.
It's fantastic. It's hard to find, but it's a fantastic movie.
How much brutality does he brutalize her with?
Well, she winds up having sex with one of the guys that was delivering her groceries, and her husband. You let me finish my story and shut up.
See the rudeness.
So after they're done having sex, she goes upstairs to take a shower or whatever, and the husband's ghost bashes him against the ceiling until he crumbles, and then sticks him up in the attic.
Well, it sounds interesting.
Like a Christmas tree?
Kind of, yeah. And then when the police are there to investigate this guy's disappearance, his body falls through some rotted ceiling tiles.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's fantastic. It really is well done.
I believe I started that at one point and never got around to finishing it. So
it's because you have no taste.
No, it wasn't because I didn't like it. It's just I got ADHD squirrel distracted. And then I think whatever streaming site it was on, it got removed. And
I can't find it on any streaming sites at all. I think I rented it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's how old we are, Kaz. We used to rent movies.
I remember those days. I do.
So Cassie, you said you like Cannibal Holocaust. I have to tell you.
I love it.
Deodato and a couple of the cast members at a convention.
Did you really?
Yeah. They were super nice.
That's not surprising at all.
It's funny because Deodato doesn't speak English, so he had his like granddaughter there translating. Yes, me and Jim go to the same horror convention. So I've seen lots and lots of.
Do you want to regale her with the story of how we met Mark?
Oh, please.
I don't know. I was like walking around the convention, and there was this guy like taking pictures of me, and I was like, well, that's really weird. Maybe he's taking pictures of the celebrities or whatever. And it's a real fucking weird creeper dude, and that's Jim.
So we were in a Facebook group together, and then we decided after chit-chatting back and forth and giving each other a hard time, he's like, we should meet up at Spooky. So we did.
Yep.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yeah. And we were getting drunk in his hotel room and doing trivia questions, and my husband made the comment, you guys should record this. It's funny. And that's how the podcast was born.
How long have you guys been doing this podcast?
A little over a year.
Wow.
It feels like an eternity, though.
It does.
And you're running out of options, and here I am.
Well, see, look, Mark wouldn't know anything about what it feels like because he doesn't have to edit this and he doesn't listen to it. So,
no. So basically, Jim edits out all my correct statements, and then so it's just like, like he gets the final say and everything, which is just bullshit, Jim.
Well,
yeah, that's exactly what I do. No, never. Mark, do you want to talk about what you've watched, or you want to just be quiet?
How about you shut your face?
Nope. Okay. Not today.
Because we recorded the other day, I think I only watched one thing, but this was a treat. So this was on Shudder, and this was just because I got like fucking ADHD and especially streaming sites. Don't know what to watch. Don't know what to watch. I just like I thought from the title, it was maybe going to be like kind of a wrong turn, backwoods type of hillbilly flick. And this is 2021's Boys from County Hell.
Ooh.
What I didn't realize, Jim,
yes,
was that this is actually a movie from where I'm from. So this is a Northern Irish movie, and it was excellent. Now, obviously, there's going to be some regional bias because I don't see many movies from Northern Ireland coming out. But this really nailed people from Northern Ireland. They're like super nice, right? But we also have this kind of like, if something bad happens, it's just like, oh, sorry, but just have to get on with things. But this is a movie where it starts off that there's a couple of tourists in a pub, and they're talking about like looking around, seeing different things, and then one of the people in the pub's like, "Hey, Bram Stoker's from Ireland, and he wrote Dracula after visiting this certain field, like just out there, and we can take you if you pay us." So obviously they paid them a beer, and there's like a big pile of rocks. It's kind of like the Rawhead Rex thing, where they say that there's like the original vampire is under this pile of rocks. And kind of like Rawhead Rex, things happen, and this vampire, eventually you see it at the end and it looks great, but kind of infects people. And it's a little different because it doesn't bite people. What it does is it goes near them, and the blood starts to pour out of your like nose and your eyes and stuff, and like flows towards it, and that's how it feeds. So Jim, I would love you to watch this because I want to see if you can understand what people are saying in it.
Text me the name of it again because I don't have a pen on me, and it does sound kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It's Boys from County Hell.
Okay.
And
I still don't have a pen, so could you text it to me?
Fuck's sake. Okay. But again, Northern Irish, and it's really well done. I actually tried to reach out to the director to see if he wanted to come on. Haven't heard back, but I don't know if he goes on Facebook. I might reach out to I found like their company.
Nice.
And see if they want to come on, and then I can talk about being from Northern Ireland. And you could just sit there and just not understand what the fuck we're talking about.
Pretty much.
That's the only thing I've watched.
So I have actually 2 audiobooks because I don't think I talked about either one of these last time we talked, Mark. Remember I mentioned a book called Holus Bolus, which was the Bedlam Bible, book number 6?
Yes. That's the one that you didn't realize it was book number 6? Is that the one?
Yeah, correct. Yep. So I downloaded this book because I liked the title, and it turns out it's the Bedlam Bible, book number 3. It's called Fight Tub.
High Tub?
Fight Tub.
Fight Tub.
Yes.
T-U-B Tub.
What's the first rule of Fight Tub?
We don't talk about Fight Tub. So this book is absurd in the best way possible. Like the main character literally has piping coming out of his body, and he's trying to hide it from work, but it turns out it's contagious. So he infects his boss, and then him and the girl of his dreams wind up melding into one amorphous bathroom fixture.
So it's like Tutio.
Yeah, it's absolutely just total insanity, but in the best way possible. It's fucking ridiculous, and I loved every minute of it. I laughed so hard.
Did you know what I was just talking about there, Jim?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about, so I just skipped over it.
No, it was Tetsuo. Oh, how do I pronounce this?
You're not going to go back to Hausu, are you?
No, Cass, you know what I'm talking about?
I do. You're talking about the Japanese film, right?
Yeah, the one where he melds.
I appreciate what they did with that film, but it's one of those one and dones for me. I mean, I did go back and kind of try to dissect it at one point, years ago. But I'd still much rather watch Uzumaki, something like that, some Junji Ito or.
Right, and this is it's a very experimental movie,
right?
Which it's really about the effects. I didn't realize they have a 2009 Tetsuo, the Bullet Man.
Really?
Yeah, because I knew about Tetsuo 2, Body Hammer, which I think I've seen. But I didn't realize they had a 2009 one, the Bullet Man.
So the other book that I read, Mark, which was
So again, why I was bringing that up is that in that Japanese movie, a guy gets hit by a car and basically starts turning, like getting metal pieces in it. And it's kind of like an infection.
yeah, it's pretty great too because like he has a flush handle that just appears on him somewhere, and he's got to flush it to go to the bathroom. It's hysterical. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, in the best way possible.
Fight Tub, huh?
Fight Tub by William Pauly III. And it just so happens because of Fight Tub, I downloaded book 2 in the series. It's called The Astronaut's Dream Book. It's about a man that's been poisoned that has dreams about astronauts. I don't know what that's going to be like yet, but I'll find out. The other book I wanted to talk about was called Who Haunts You by Mark Wheaton. This is a book about manufactured ghosts.
Interesting.
So essentially, this let me talk about why I enjoyed this book so much and what I thought was so fantastic about it. The main character is autistic, but only mildly so. So she's pretty high functioning. She doesn't, she goes to high school and all that sort of stuff. And they make it a huge asset throughout the story, her neurodivergence. And I thought it was fantastic. Like the whole way that they handled it with her her overstimulated reactions and stuff. I thought it was fantastic. I've not seen representation like that before, especially in this type of book. But I absolutely recommend this to anybody that wants to read it. In general, just a good book.
What's the title again?
It's called Who Haunts You.
Who Haunts You?
So basically, the main character, and for right now, her name is escaping me, but she is going to high school, and she tends to hyperfixate on things. And three of her classmates die, and she starts to believe that there's a connection between them. So she starts to investigate, and then the same thing, like they've all had these weird episodes out in public where they're running from somebody or reacting to somebody who's not there. And the same thing starts to happen to her. So she's trying to investigate to find out what's going on to put a stop to it. And that's all I'm going to say because it's pretty fantastic. And I think it's really well done. The twist at the end, when you figure out who it is, I thought was really, really good.
Mysterious malevolence, huh?
Yeah.
So Jim, I I haven't listened to a book in I'm still halfway through that SPQR one, and I downloaded another Lincoln Child one. I've just got out of the audiobook mojo.
Yeah, and I'm actually right in the middle of another one that I didn't want to talk about just yet, but I'll mention it. It's called hold on a minute, let me pull it up. It is called Treasures of the Locks. It takes place in Scotland, obviously. But it's more of a mystery adventure type film with, I haven't figured out how yet because I still have like 4 hours left in this book. But somehow the Fountain of Youth plays a part. But it's interesting so far. I like it. I'm enjoying it so far.
I have only listened to one audiobook, and that was The Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch, which is fantastic. I'm not sure if you're familiar. Philip K. Dick. It's science fiction, though. We're talking horror here, but
So
it doesn't matter because I was going to say,
was this anything?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be horror related in this segment. Because I was going to mention there's 3 3 audiobooks that I've ever listened to more than once. And that is the Adam Binder series written by David R. Slayton. And they're just as good the first time as they were the second time. And I sort of geeked out because he was one of the first authors we ever had on this podcast. And it was fantastic. He's writing an epic fantasy right now, which comes out next month. And that's not normally my genre, but I've already pre-ordered it because so far have loved everything he's written.
So yes, Tats, you can talk about whatever. Sorry for Jim going on about his own shit again.
Yeah, but anyway, Philip K. Dick. You were talking about Philip K. Dick.
Oh, it's a futuristic novel. It's
You said it's called The Three Stigmata?
The Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch by Philip K. Dick. it's about ambiguous slippage between reality and unreality. I think I may have even just quoted the summary verbatim by accident, but I do highly recommend it. Um, it's quite a long one. Um,
I
I
love long
was
books.
actually I was actually going to my mind had slipped back into the soundtrack phase, and I was going over in my head some that I really enjoyed, Dead and Breakfast, and then I didn't bring it up, I believe, because it's a musical comedy. Mark, are you familiar? So I know
Uh,
you're such a big fan of
Breakfast.
musicals.
It's got what's his name in it? He was pretty famous back like 15 years ago.
Carradine?
No, Bed and Breakfast.
I don't know Den and Breakfast.
You've never seen it either, Jim?
No, I've not heard of it before, so no.
I definitely recommend it.
I'll have to look that up because I do love
Mhm.
obscure musicals.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's Jeremy Sisto.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it. I don't remember anything about it.
You didn't care for it. Jeremy Sisto was in May.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
mean. He
called.
was pretty cool back then.
Am I hearing this right? It's Denim Breakfast.
Dead
Dead
and
D80.
Breakfast.
Dead and
God,
Breakfast.
I was like, I'm looking at Den and Breakfast. I'm like, I don't think that's right. I'm getting something wrong.
Dead and Breakfast. 2000, early 2000s.
Yeah, that's
I can't recall the year.
much different. Yeah, I got it.
2004.
You'd probably rate
Jeffrey
it a 3
Dean
out of 10.
Morgan is in it. Nice.
Yep.
Jeremy Sisto.
Definitely on my top 20.
I'm gonna have to look this up. I've not seen it yet. Mark, do you have anything else?
I don't think so.
And what about you, Kaz? Anything else you want to talk about?
You know what? I'm running out of fuel myself, to be honest with you guys.
That's fair. I get it. So, thank you everybody who has hung out this long to listen to our insanity. Mark's clearly getting bored because he's playing the guitar.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a
Thank
lot
you,
of fun.
Kaz. You are more than welcome anytime.
Hang on.
You guys are hilarious.
You know what, Jim? I was trying to do something nice at the end there and play Cannibal Holocaust theme tune on the outro, and then you just fucked it all up as usual.
Mark, we have outro music for that. We don't need you.